Okay, so one thing that you guys will notice is under discussions, I made one called Design Week 2019. And the only reason why I did that is if anybody is interested in going to any of these events, I figured you guys could pop in here and say, hey, I'm going to go to this tonight. Anybody coming? And I know it'll be kind of last minute, but if you have your notifications on or if you come in here and click on subscribe, you can unsubscribe after, but then at least you can see people's notes as they go to the events. Excuse me. So last night was Meet the Masters with Ken Pollard, and it was pretty awesome. Did anybody make it last night? I know that I have classes on Monday and Wednesday night, and most of my students were there. But that was really cool to hear him speak. As I mentioned tonight, I will be at Design Lake City, and then I might go to the neighborhood project, but I don't know yet. So I think Design Lake City is free. Let me make sure. Yeah, and then the neighborhood project, it is $5, and I'm pretty sure those tickets are still available just because with a 2-hour event, yeah, they tend to have lots of tickets for those. So there are also a few other things today. I know that a lot of people are interested in this film that are in my other classes, so they'll be attending this film tonight at the Salt Lake Library. And then from 4:30 to 6:30, you can hop in and see any one of these design firms. Struck and Modernate are both really high-end graphic design firms, advertising firms, and beautiful spaces if you want to go check out their spaces. As I mentioned last week, we are going to have our own architectural sketching class that you guys can get involved in. We're still setting up the details for that. It most likely won't be until next week that we get it buttoned up just because we're all so busy this week. And then Julianne, are you going to Designing with Metal tomorrow? So Julianne will be there tomorrow if you want to throw that up on the discussion. And then the keynote speaker, I'm not going to this one just because the tickets tend to stack up. I think the keynote speaker is about $15, although I would love to see him speak. But I'm actually saving my ticket for the Utah Design exhibit on Friday night. So keep coming back here. Empathy and Design on Thursday. I'll talk to you about it again. I think this would be a great event too. And I'm sorry, I still haven't found out if it's our instructor who's teaching it, but I'm pretty sure it is just because it is City Home. So if you've had classes with Amber before, I'm sure you guys have heard people talking about how awesome her class is. I'm pretty sure this is her. So again, in our discussions, I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to this too. If you come here under discussions, Design Week 2019, just subscribe to it for the week so that if anybody posts something, you can hop in and see what other people are doing. And then under assignments, I added Salt Lake Design Week extra credit. So if you go to any of these events, I have up to 3 opportunities for extra credit for you guys. And really all I'm looking for is a photo of you at the event or just a photo at the event. And then the thing that I always like to ask my students is, did you think the event was worth your time? And to me, having it be worth your time means that you left learning something or feeling inspired by something, hopefully both. Sometimes you go to these things and you're like, what was that? Can I please have my 2 hours back? But that's really what I want to know. So I'm going to keep this up until next week to give you guys some time to hop in on some of those. And then the other thing that I will also announce on Thursday, hopefully starting tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, we might need help building a doghouse. You can come see us at Barkitecture on Saturday. Right, Brooke? We're going to do this? Okay, we're going to pull it off. That's it for Design Week. What I want to do now is kind of remind everybody where we're at and where we're going. So we are officially in midterm. Last Thursday we had kind of like a preview day. So if you didn't make it to class on Thursday, there is still a regular lecture like we always have. But then I also, in our discussions, let me show you, and in case you were here and you forgot, I have kind of a private lecture under our YouTube playlist. And the reason why this one is private is because this is examples of previous students' projects, and we openly discuss them, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I didn't want those to be public. And so if you want to see these, you do have to go through it from this link. You won't see it on our playlist. And so as you are working on your midterm, and you might want to go back and see a project that may have particularly inspired you, I'm not sure, all of these references are still here for you. But essentially, a week from today, you guys will be turning in your first iteration of your midterm. And by first iteration, I mean that we're going to keep adding to it. Initially, on Thursday, we were going to do something called extrusions, but I figured it would be better just to let you guys get through some of the weeds of the midterm and let you just have lab time to work. And then once you got it to the point where it's pretty much done, then we'll all hop into extrusions and renderings and play with that Tuesday and Thursday of next week. Get into a little bit of rendering. For today, though, what we'll be doing is hopping back into the midterm project. And all of us together as a class will be going over how to add the staircase. So we're going to do stairs in Revit, talk about the different shapes you can do. This one's going to be really straightforward, but I will talk to you about a couple other options that you have. And when we get to the final project, essentially what will happen is I don't think we will review stairs again. The only thing that we'll re-review again will be roofs and schedules, and not even re-review. The last things we'll introduce will be roofs and schedules. But other than that, it's really a matter of I want you guys to try and use Revit as a tool on your own to make these projects come to life. So again, if Revit isn't doing something you want it to do, whether it's a certain wall type, if a roof isn't rendering the way you want, or even stairs, that's something that all of us can kind of do one-on-one, right? So with that, I'm going to give you guys just a minute to open up your midterm, and I will meet you guys at the street level. And let's have 3 views open. So I'm going to have my street level. I want to cut a section through the stairs. And then let's do a 3D view as well from the inside, looking towards the stairs. So that's where I will meet you guys. I think the best thing about stairs in Revit is that it really does all of the work for you. I don't know if when you were working on your stairs in AutoCAD, if you had to go through and calculate what the actual stair heights were, and then, you know, take it down to a fraction of an inch, or if you just kind of rigged your ceiling heights so that your stairs ended up being perfect. But the thing that's nice is your stairs automatically calculate to attach to your floors. And so one thing to think about and remember is similar to, you know how when we draw our walls, whatever level we attach them to, when it goes up or down, it attaches to that level. The stairs do the same thing. So if you have your first level here and your second level here, the stairs automatically calculate to go up to that second level. If your second level gets higher, the stairs will get steeper, or it'll add more stairs to attach to it. If it comes down lower, again, the stairs kind of recalculate themselves. So for this particular exercise that we're doing, one thing that I want you guys to remember is that in a residential setting, let's just do a little tiny bit of code, not a lot of code. Are any of you guys in the residential codes class right now? Anyone? Yeah. A couple of you? Okay. So hopefully this is familiar, but in a residential setting, you draw your stairs. Do I need to say it again, people? I should have drawn this first. No. No, that's not working. Oh my gosh. No. Okay, we're gonna go like, there you go. I can't draw perspective well. That's why you guys should take this sketch class with me.
Oh my god.
I don't even know what's going on. And I can't blame it on my cold because I feel great. Okay, we'll stop there. We'll do 2 steps. That's great. So in a residential setting, your maximum rise, so basically the maximum you can rise and step up, is 7 3/4 inches. And then your actual tread depth, so the actual size of your step, this is a 10-inch minimum, right? So you have to have at least 10 inches there. When we get into curved stairs, it's a whole other ball game. It's like a 6-inch minimum on the nose, and then like 18 inches in, it has to be another number. So I won't get into curved stairs or circular stairs, but just know a basic staircase, that's what we're looking for. So with, say that one more time. So that's just the minimum. So you can go 11 up to 24. That's just your code minimum. Yeah, so we'll play with, and let me see what was in this one. So this one's 9, so it violates code. So our stairs might end up being a little bit different than how you've drawn. The other thing that I will mention here is that your landing at the top of the stairs, so I'm just going to call it your landing, it has to be at least 3 feet by, and then whatever your stair width is. And your stair width is a minimum of 3 feet. Okay, so these would be your stairs down here. Got it? So this has to be at least 3 feet. And then this number here has to be at least 3 feet or wider, depending on how you're drawing them.
No, don't you need a landing every 12 feet? Well,
You do, but I don't want to get into code too much. And so I think especially, I don't think anyone's going 12 feet in here. We might be
13 feet between floors.
a little bit louder.
On this project, it's 13 feet. Anyway,
I'm going to ignore that. For those of you guys in the codes class, hold yourself to code. But in the fundamentals, I'm trying to teach you guys Revit, and I'll show you how to add. So I won't brush over it. I will address it. So in code, they say that if you are drawing a staircase, I have to draw a section of this. If this is your building, and that's your floor, if this goes over 12 feet, you have to have a landing. Essentially, just think of your teacher being out of shape. After 6 feet going up, I need to stop and breathe, and then keep going up again. That's essentially what it's for. So every time you're over 12 feet, you have to give me one of these landings. And so one of the things is David, so depending on, I don't think anybody had a landing in Jerry's class, right? And so one thing to be careful of, and I wasn't trying to ignore what you were saying, but I kind of was, because it opens up a can of worms. It's going to eat in another 3 feet into your space. And so depending on how you've designed it, that 3 feet to add this landing could have a big impact, or it might not have an impact. But let's go ahead and add it and just kind of see what it does. So we have lots of code stuff on the board. So let me just ask you, if you go up, how many feet are you required to have a landing? After how many feet of elevation? 12 feet, okay? And then can my stairs be 9 inches? Can the tread on my stairs be 9 inches? What's the minimum? Okay, and in a residence, can I have stairs that are 8 inches high? 7 3/4. About 15 years ago you could. And I'm still sad about that. So 7 3/4 is hard to add, guys. So good. That is what we will start with. So first what we're gonna do, we're gonna just make this, I hope, really easy and straightforward. But let's check a couple of things. Hopefully you all at least have a floor.
Are you projecting?
Oh, did I not start again? Sorry. Let me do this. Yeah? Okay, good. So hopefully you guys at least have a floor, and you all have some sort of a base, whether it's the one I gave you or the one that you're using from your CAD class. So on my street level, just to kind of compare with you guys, on this particular example, my stairs start 8 feet 6 inches from that door. And I can even add that door really quick. What is this? No, I have all these fancy doors. Where's just my, there we go, single flush. And because this is a commercial space, we do need to have a 36-inch door here. And it should open out. Okay. Now once I have my 8 feet 6 here, this is a number that I'll probably play with a little bit once we put our stairs in. But why don't we all start off by going into architecture, and then you should see under circulation, one of the buttons is stair. So it's almost in the center of your screen. And here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna click on stair, and by default it's gonna do a straight run, and that's what we want. And it automatically knows that we're gonna go from the street level up to the second level. And we're gonna talk about each one of these. Right now we're just doing the default out of the box. I'm not changing anything. It's doing residential closed 2 sides. And I'll go over what that means too. So to start, this is the part where I'm horrible. So see how the run is in the center? I know that I don't want it in the center. I think I want it on the right. I'm really bad at left and right, so we're gonna find out. No, it was left. So we want it run left. And what Revit does is it essentially just keeps drawing stairs until it gets to the level it needs to go, and then it stops. So can you see back here, it's drawing a preview of what it would look like if I just filled in all the stairs. And then as I draw, it just fills them in. So right now, I am ignoring the landing, but we're gonna come back and fix that. So let's go ahead and just click and place that. And before we hit the green check mark to get out of there, let's stay in this menu for just a minute so I can talk about what we've drawn. So I'll give you guys a minute to kind of sketch that in. I have 8 feet 6 inches. Your design, so say that one more time. Oh, got it. Yeah, so as soon as you click, just keep dragging and it will get to the top. And this number, Brooke, could be different just depending on what base you're using. As long as you have 3 feet there, you're good.
So is it supposed to be pulling the dimensions from the center of the wall?
Nope, so let me show you one more time. So by default, when you are in your stairs, it does run center.
No, when you're doing your dimension, what is it, 6'6"?
The 6'6".
Sorry.
So let's see. You are using my base, right, Heather? Okay, so I just put that in just to let people know roughly where I'm starting. But honest to goodness, for the one that we're doing right now,
Start where the stairs start on the CAD.
yeah, but you can change that later. I just want to get a generic stair in here to kind of play with it a little bit. Okay, and I think, does anybody need a minute to still put in their stairs? Did you guys get that okay? Yeah. Megan, are your stairs being nice? I'm being nosy on your screen. Okay. All right. So Megan, I'm gonna make you throw them in real quick because I want you to go through all of the settings with me.
So it's grayed out.
Which part?
I'm being silly.
Wait, what's grayed out?
My stairs.
Your stairs are grayed out?
They're little highlighted light green.
They're not black like mine.
No, I can't even select the stair
Let's see. So right here, under the modify and create stair, can you go there?
Yeah.
Will you hit the black X and just start over for me? Do you have stairs now? Yes. Okay, Megan and Heather? Okay, cool. So now that we have our stairs, what I wanted to point out is that in a nutshell, you have stairs, right? Revit built everything for you. It's basically ready to go, but there might be a few things that you want to add or some things that you want to change. So for example, right now, by default, it makes our stairs 3 feet wide. And let me see, typically on that, what we can do you see how it says, I have to click on my properties to make sure what's highlighting where, but do you see that the actual run width, so the run of our stairs, the width of them is 3 feet. Now on my drawing, it looks like the stairs are a little bit wider. So do you see how here they were drawn at 3.5 feet? So you might want to check your stairs. Is everybody's around 3.5 feet or at least bigger than 3? Okay. So let's say we click on our stairs. We can change that to be 3.5 enter or 3 space 6 enter. And then you'll get a wider stair.
On the runway?
So that's right under dimensions.
So you placing them on a plan view, or does that have to be on elevation view?
I do it in plan.
It doesn't seem to want to click on anything here.
So, click here on the straight stair. Yep. So click there. Nope.
Right there.
And now just start over here on the red line. So zoom in a little bit for me. And I didn't draw mine from the center, so change it from center. And guys, help me out. Was it left or right? Left. Left. Thank you. Yep. And if you click there, and then drag down, it'll start automatically drawing for you.
Well, the stairs stop when they reach the top. Mine just aren't going.
A little bit louder.
Mine aren't going all the way to the top.
Is it way off or is it like a foot off?
Oh, it's more than a foot.
Okay, so let me show you guys one more time. Do not move your eyes from my computer. So right now, see how I'm still in stair mode, but it's not letting me draw stairs? So when you delete your stairs in stair mode and you want to start over, you just have to tell Revit what type of stair you're drawing. So if I click on straight run, I should be able to click on this stair here and drag over. And then the other part of that is you also have to just make sure you have a floor there. So I happen to have a floor, and it might be that it's not going up to the floor, but it's just going up to the level marker. Does that make sense? So either way, it's going up to the level marker or just up to the floor. Now Heather, did it work that time?
Yeah, I was just trying to follow the CAD drawing and stop when the stairs stop.
Don't do, yeah, so those stairs aren't to code.
Okay.
And so we're not following that. We're going to put in as proper of a stair as we can. So the first thing that I wanted to do is just show you guys that you can change the width. That's okay to change. Okay. And then the other thing that I also wanted to show you guys is when you click on your stairs, do you see that it's automatically calculating the riser of the stairs? So these stairs are just over 6 inches. Do you see how it's like 6.01 almost? They're just over 6. You can adjust that a little bit. A lot of times I don't mess with it that much, just because what ends up happening is the way that it's calculating it is that if you get rid of one, then it's going to go over what the allowed code height is. Does that make sense? So what we can do, let me take a look here. I'm going to go into edit type, and what I'm looking for, no, this isn't the one. Sorry, there's too many menus in here. I need to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so right now, I think this would be the best way to change it. See how right now the desired number of risers is 23? So, I mean, did we really say, hey, Revit, we want 23 risers? We didn't specify that. If you take that number down to 22 and click off, I'm going to see how this takes it up to 7 and 23/56, right? So I think I'm still within code because 7.23 is not quite 7.75. I'm going to try to take it down one more. Yeah, Maddie?
I don't see it.
Click on your stair. Or, no, deselect your stair. And you're still in the stair menu. Sorry, that was my fault, because there are certain properties you see when you have it selected, and then certain properties you see when it's deselected. So the main number to watch is this number right here, right? I still know that 7.55 is still shallower than 7 3/4. Question, David?
I think I figured it out about 7 and 3/16.
Yeah. And how many stairs did you get?
22.
22? I think this is almost 8, so I have to be at 21. So see how let me use my calculator. This is going to be really close. 205 divided by 256. No, that was a multiplication, Naima. That was very wrong. Oh, dang it. No, 0.8. This violates code. I have to have 21 stairs. So the 755 divided by 128, that will keep us within code. Okay?
Is there a warning that's supposed
Oh,
to
no.
pop up and say the actual riser height of stairs is greater?
No, just because we haven't set that in our project parameters.
So
But
is
one,
it okay?
no,
It gives me an error if I select 21 desired number.
I always say it's okay to hit okay. Oh, where did I lose ya?
That's okay. Keep going.
No, I don't want to. Well, part of this exercise is to teach you guys how to draw stairs, right? So, and one thing, Heather, if you look at mine, it's not necessarily perfect either, because one thing I'm noticing is that when I made the stair risers go taller, what it's doing now is because I drew the stairs a particular way, it's still adding those 2 extra steps. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go here and drag this so that I don't have as many stairs. You see what I did there? So when we all first started drawing, it drew the 23 stairs, I think is what it did by default. So with the 23 stairs I had, I messed with the number so that it would get steeper, because I know that I can go up to almost 8 inches, but not quite. When we first started, Revit had it at just over 6 inches. Does that sound right when we first started? And we could keep it at 6 inches, but when you don't have kind of like the depth for all those stairs, by making them steeper, it kind of shrinks in your steps a little bit. So that's why I'm adjusting it. And what ended up happening when I adjusted it, so see here, when I adjusted it, it adjusted it for all 23 steps. And so now essentially I have too many stairs. And so what the warning that you were probably getting was that like the top of your stairs is now past the top of your floor. And I'm getting that same issue. So see how here it says 21 plus 2? that means that I need 21 stairs, but I have 2 extra. So I just need to come here and pull this back, and now I've got 21. So as long as that plus is gone, you should be okay. Really, in a nutshell, if you were just to click and drag, you would be fine. It would draw a stair that would work and that would fit. But what I want to do today, I mean, that was easy. That took us like 2 minutes or less. What I want to teach you guys how to do is to customize it just a little bit more. So, and the way that we did that was to go into the properties and change the riser height, and then come back after and then adjust our number of stairs. Now, let's say for whatever reason that you wanted to come back and say, you know, I want to try and get this closer to 7.5. So you added a stair here. You could even come back and add that second stair here. So after even that first time after you draw your stair, you can always come back and push and pull these. It's not necessarily right, but you can come back and adjust them. There we go, and I have too many there. So now I have 22 plus 2, and I didn't want to do that. Yep. Let me go back. I think I was at 21.
I asked for 22 and I actually did 23 and it's 7 3/16.
Okay, good. Just over 7. Yeah, that's within
I
code.
was thinking the tread numbers, I guess, 22, so.
Yeah, either way works. I'm going to stick at 21. It's just over 7.5, so, well, it's less than 7.5, but that's where I end up. Now, while we're here, we're going to do this a few more times, but while we're here, the other thing I wanted to point out is the type of stair. Do you see how it drew something called closed both sides? I'm actually going to spin, whoops. I'm going to spin my 3D model around a little bit if it lets me. Maybe it won't. Oops. Let me come back here. Oh no, now it's undoing my, it won't undo views, unfortunately. Let me go back here. What I wanted to show you guys, that 3D view is useless to me now, I killed it. I want to show you the types of stairs that you can draw and what might help you. So let me go do one more camera. Okay, so the stairs that we drew is closed on 2 sides. So closed on 2 sides essentially means that it's a standard construction finish. So it's got what's called a stringer on both ends. Now, if you think about your house or even the stairs here, you don't actually see like a wood stringer with the stairs on there. There's some sort of finish on it. If you come here though, you can scroll through and see that when the left side is open, do you see how it finishes off the stairs a little bit more for us? Let me go shaded. And please be nice when I spin you. Don't kick me out to the outside. Okay, that didn't help. There you go. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So left open means that the left side of your stair is open, but do you see how the stringer is still here on the right? You could even do open 2 sides, which means that both sides would have a finished appearance. And of course you could do a right open. There's open riser, and so it gets rid of the paneling that's in the riser. And then you also have open riser middle stringer. That's more of a, I would say, a modern look. And I haven't done this before, but you might even be able to go online and find different types of stairs to import it, if that's something you're interested in. I know that in the commercial template of Revit, they have like metal stairs and concrete stairs, so there could be some that you find in there too, if you wanted to customize it. But again, all of these things can be added after the fact, during. It's not something that you have to do right then. But those are some more options that you guys have on your stairs. Now when you're done, go ahead and hit the green check mark to finish that up. Okay. And mine ended up being a little bit short. I have to add another stair since I was playing with the numbers. So to edit your stairs, you would click on it and then edit stairs. But before I do that, tell me what it added automatically for you guys that we didn't even talk about. Yep, so it went ahead and added handrails, and it just, again, calculates them automatically depending on what types of stairs you put in. So you can see it put it in on both sides of mine. Tell me what's wrong with my plan right now. You can see it in my 3D view. What was that?
There's a ceiling.
There's actually, my floor doesn't have an opening in it. So I have a solid floor between my first and second level without a hole for the stairs to come through. So we'll play with that too. But you can click on the railing, and there are different types of railings that you can select too. In this example, I probably wouldn't have one up against the wall. No. Or it can just be a pipe. Right? So you can play with those different things too. And again, online there might be different types of railings that you can add or edit as well.
What if our stairs are still not reaching the top?
So what you'll need to do, and mine aren't either, or mine went over. So let me look at mine and see. Oh, no. So see how mine are also short? What you can do is click on Edit Stairs. And what I need to do, and you might need to do the same thing, is essentially add another stair until it reaches the top. You might be adding 2 or 3. I've changed a whole bunch of these numbers here. So I'm back down to the 6-inch stair that we started with.
So where's edit stair?
Okay, click on your stair for me. Let me get out of mine. So click on your stair, and do you see Edit Stairs in the middle of your screen? It should be in a similar spot to where you would see maybe Edit Roof or Edit Floor, or is it not there? Got it? Okay. As soon as you hit that green check mark, it adds it for you automatically. Yep. Do you see it now? There you go. Uh-huh.
Where is it supposed to end at?
At the top floor. So on my section, I still I undid my last one, but essentially, do you see this top part right here? That should be aligned with this right here.
So you keep adding stairs until that gets to the top?
Yeah.
So basically we didn't need to take away those 2 stairs, but it's telling us to take away.
Yes. Whenever you see a +2 or a plus whatever, that means that those are extra stairs.
And we took them away,
Mhm.
but now we're adding them in.
I can't say yes to yours only because I changed so many things in mine that I don't know where your stairs are compared to mine. Because I was changing the heights and the desired number of stairs. So in a nutshell, the thing that I do know is that you do want the top of this to go to the top of your floor like that. And so
It's just really odd.
mine is, well, take a look at mine.
It's just like yours.
Okay. So I ended up changing so many things that now it's probably like a 1/4 inch off or so. And I can always reset it so that it attaches back to the top of the floor too. I can realign it. If you have anything you don't like, if it's a roof or a floor and you needed to restart it, what would you do? mine is already there. I have no X to hit. What was that? Well, if you are still in the X, hit the green check mark just to get out of that menu, right? Okay? And now you are where I am.
It's taking away my stairs though that I just added to get it up higher.
Do you have any stairs right now?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not the stairs you want, right?
Right.
Okay, so right now, how do we get rid of these? It should be really straightforward.
The red X
I think we're in different spots. I'm just going to click on mine and delete them.
in the edit screen.
I'm sorry, I thought I told you to hit the green check to get out of there. I just wanted us to be in the same spot. But you can hit the red X. What I'm trying to say in a nutshell is what my friend Elsa tells me. Just let it go and start over. Because they are really straightforward to draw. And we can just redraw them. And I'm going to redraw them too. When I redraw them this time, I'm going to add another element to it. And so what I would say, whatever you guys have drawn right now, I hate to break your hearts, but I want you guys to erase it and kind of start over with me. And I am going to add a landing per David's request. So we're going to add a landing. And I think we had, in the end, I think we can get away with like 21 or 22 stairs. So after 11 steps, we're going to add a landing. Okay, so everybody clear out where you are. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through this whole thing for you guys just to take a peek before we do it together.
How do we get rid of them?
You click on them and you hit delete. Okay, are you still in your menu where you see the modify or create stair, the light blue? Okay, hit escape for me a couple times and go on your floor plan. Do you see stairs? Can you click on them? Okay, let me go back to our 3D view. And I'm going to try to look at them from here. Alright, so remember for this one, I'm going to walk you through this technique because we're adding a step here. And that step is a literal step. We're adding a landing. And then we'll do it together. And in fact, for this one, I'm not even going to change the riser height. I'm going to keep the riser where it is. When you guys go into your codes class, for those of you who are in codes or who will be taking it later, just make sure you don't exceed that 7.75. Okay? So for this one, it's going to look relatively the same. So there's my section, here's my 3D view. Hopefully you'll start to see it being built. And as I mentioned, I'm going to start my stair. It's got 23 and then the 25 and, you know, that stuff. And right here, do you see when I zoom in, it says 11 created, 12 remaining? You guys see that on my screen? So as soon as I get 11, which is about the halfway point, I'm going to click to stop. And then I'm going to like 1, 2, skip a few. How big should my landing be? About?
3 feet?
Yep, 3 feet or the width of my stair. So here I'm going to go back to at least 3 feet because I haven't adjusted my stair yet. And then I'm going to keep drawing my stair.
How do you add the stair count then?
How do I what?
Add the stair count?
Add the stair count.
So on yours it's showing you how many stairs you have.
It should just do it automatically while you're drawing it. But I know you're not drawing right now because you're watching what I'm doing very intently. So after you draw the landing, I can keep going and see how it fills it in automatically for me. Now, before I get out of here, I know that eventually my stairs do need to be 3.5 feet. So if it was any other element in Revit, if I wanted to move it a certain amount, I could do a distance here and then tell Revit, I said 3.5, right? There's a 3.5 foot landing. The other thing I could do is if I don't like this design, I could delete that And then from here, grab my straight stairs, and I should be able to continue drawing here. So I made it more of an L-shaped. So you can go any direction. Now, let's try that together. I'm gonna hit my red X. I'm gonna say I'm gonna cancel. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add two things. The first thing we're gonna add is we're gonna make it 3.5 feet wide, because we know that's what we want. We're gonna draw about half the stairs, or however many you think we need. We're gonna skip a few for a landing, and then we're gonna keep drawing them straight. And then we're gonna delete that, and then we're gonna make it an L, just for fun. Okay. You guys with me? Okay. All right, so now, Brooke, I'll answer your question about seeing your stairs. So if you click on stair, you should automatically, as soon as you start your first stair, see it start counting. Do you see it? And I have to zoom out because it's all the way at the end.
I just see like the distance. I don't see an actual stair.
So zoom out for me. Can you see like the end of your staircase being ghosted in? And it's not counting it for you? Weird. It should be. Does anybody else not see it? No? I don't know if this would help, but you might want to close down Revit and restart it, because that should be something that it's doing automatically. If you want to follow along with us and then go out and do it again, but it should be doing it for you automatically. Now, before I get too far, what I want to do you see up here at the top it says actual run width? I want to change that to 3.5. Okay? And now I'm going to go up to 11 risers created, 12 remaining. So, Brooke, this part will be tricky for you because you'll actually have to count. But I'm going to go up to 11 and then click once. And I'm not done drawing my stairs, right? I'm still in stair mode. It's still in this straight run mode. But what I'm going to do is kind of pull off here. And you guys get to decide. If you are comfortable, like, trying to find where this 3.5 feet is, find it and click and keep going. Again, with my wrists, it's really hard for me to get anything exact. So I would just kind of pull it off and then keep going. And then after I'm done, what I typically do is add a dimension and then scooch it over. But if you are comfortable just dragging it manually, you can do that. I don't want to discourage you if you don't have old creaky witch hands like I do. Okay?
So it is supposed to show us how many stairs we're drawing.
Yeah, as you're drawing, it should give you that count. Okay. It did come back? Okay. You didn't close out or anything? What I would do, Heather, if the count goes away, just get out of your stair editor and then restart a new step. Because...
I've done that several times, and it's just giving me the distance.
Okay.
Mine, the count showed up after I ended the stair, so
Yeah.
once I completed it.
So hit the red X for me entirely. And so it's showing you the count. I saw right there. I saw 23 remaining. Okay. And then, now before you get too far, change that to 3.6 for me. Good. Yeah, and now see it is there. It's really ghosted. So you have 3 and you have 29 remaining. And you guys, did I go to 11 or 12?
11.
11. So keep going until you see 11 created. Good. Now click there. Now kind of drag out. It's creating your landing. You actually want to keep coming here to your left. And at any point now, see how it's telling you, you can barely see it. If you keep moving, nearest will go away. You can click anywhere there, really. So click once, and now keep drawing your stairs. It'll keep counting for you. And finish those up. Now click because you're done. Either way. Yeah, and now see we have like this really big landing here. What I did, I drew a dimension string. So go ahead and draw a dimension string. And just measure your landing. Good. And now you can do thing I also want you guys to try, so let's leave those stairs. You could use those stairs for your midterm. You might be able to try another design. But either way, leave those there. You will have to decide if you're gonna do walls, then you don't necessarily want railings here like this. So you can finish this design a little bit later. But what I would like you guys to do is up here in the upper right corner, try to see if you can figure out how to do a U-shaped stair. So I'll give you a hint. I'm not gonna show you. Actually, no, this is a lie. This is me showing you, like, just graphically, but not actually doing it for you. So you would start your stair essentially by clicking here and dragging over. Now before, when we clicked here and dragged over, it drew the stairs facing up, and that was going left. So remember that. You might have to change your run, and then you're gonna go up, and then you're gonna need a really big landing, and then you're gonna flip back over and go the other way, okay? Give it a try and see where you guys get, and then in just maybe less than 5 minutes, I'm gonna walk through it with you guys. I'm gonna be right back. To figure out how to compensate for it. So I'm pretty, let me do it this way, sorry. Let me look at it one other way. Is this my section? That doesn't give me a better view. So it is actually doing it correctly. I know it doesn't look like it, but the thing that it's missing is this top tread right here. So see how it's taking that distance off of it? That's because on your floor, you're not going to have a top tread there. And so what we're about to do kind of compensates for that. So when we put the opening in our floor, we're gonna make sure that the hole is lined up right here and not right there. So do you see that if we drew the line here, we'd have that weird lip that we'd trip over? But if we stop the floor here, then we wouldn't have that awkward lip right there. So what I mean by that, if I go to, bless you, I'm gonna find my floor. Can I do it from here?
Reframing it where that riser is, shouldn't it?
It should.
Frame right into a beam or something.
Yeah, but we're not, since we're not doing actual structural plans for this, we're just kind of rendering what we can. So what I'm gonna do, this next part, I actually have to do on the second level. I can't edit my floor from the first level. So I'm gonna hop into my second level. And the only reason why I'm gonna do this really quick is so you guys can see how this can essentially be fixed. Let me find my floor, and again, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna find it in my section so I can have it in my second floor. And then you guys help me out. Once I have my floor selected, where do I go from here?
Edit boundary.
Yep, edit boundary, good. And now here's these pink lines that it drew automatically for me. And I want my entire stair to be open. So I'm gonna come over here to this point. I just dragged it. And see how these two lines don't connect anymore? What I need to do is to grab a line tool from up here and essentially trace around the stair. And I could even leave the entire hallway open. Is it gonna be happy with this right here? The overlapping lines? How do I fix that? What command fixes corners? Anyone? Yes, but what is it in Revit? It is TR. We love that one. Don't forget that one. And then what I'm gonna do is check. So when I go to my floor, see how I didn't quite draw it exactly where it needed to go? This is where I think reference planes help quite a bit. Because here, it looks like I got it perfect, but when I actually look at the structure, see how it's a little bit off? I'm gonna kinda have to decide which one looks and works best. So if I do a reference plane right here, do you see that it shows up in this view here? Now I'm gonna go back and try to dig out my floor. That was actually really easy. I'm going to do edit boundary, and let's see what this does. There you go. Yeah, so now it's going to the back of that point, and I just see the end of the first tread. So there is a lot of construction detail that's showing up in these views, and you can decide. One thing that you could do, if I were doing this project in my section mode, remember when we were going through interior elevations, I told you guys that you could use filled regions to kind of erase things you don't want to see. Hi, you ready for Photoshop? What's up?
You mentioned if we needed to do work, there was a lab we could go into.
This is the lab.
This is.
Come on
Okay.
in. Remember how last week I was saying when you're doing interior elevations, you can use reference planes to hide stuff? So again, in Revit, we are trying to use it the most effective way possible. And if some of this detailing ends up getting to a point where our plans look a little bit funny or a section stop making sense, what I would do is come in here with the filled region and essentially erase this out so I couldn't see that in my view. So that, you know, because we can see that the stairs are in fact drawn correctly to the level it's going to. And if that's what's throwing us off, again, I can go to annotate region. I don't know if I have a white one. You can pretend I do. I have a solid black. I'm going to pretend it's solid white, and that would essentially erase it out. And then hopefully you'd feel better. But that would be your section. And you can see that these railing lines are in front of the wall back there. They're not cutting through.
Just added the stair rising treads.
David, I'm so sorry because I still have a sinus thing. I'm having a really hard time understanding you.
It won't let you go into the stairs and add the risers and treads?
We can, but I'm not doing that in this class.
Okay.
Just because that's way beyond a fundamental. And so what we need for this class is as much as I've shown you. But you can go through and absolutely edit those things and change the structure of it, but not in our class. Okay. What I'm going to do now, if you guys are ready, sorry, that was a little bit of a detour. Let me ask really quickly, do you guys feel comfortable just with the concept of adding the hole in your floor for the stairs? Kind of? Yes? Okay. That's one thing that I do want you guys to see, or that I want to see on your projects. Now, one thing code-wise that you need to remember, I'm drawing a reference plane, and actually, no, that doesn't help me. I'm drawing a reference plane this way. The reason why I'm drawing a reference plane here is that by code, you can't have, how do I put this? You can't have a ceiling over something unless it's 6 feet 8 inches, if that makes sense. So essentially, you would have to figure out where you're 6 feet 8 inches and then make that same angle in order for you to see how open you can have the stairs. That doesn't make any sense, does it? No. Let me figure it out and then I'll show you. Yeah, it is the clearance, but I need to calculate the angle and show that to you guys first. So before I get into that kind of an opening, let me go back a little bit and talk about the U shape. Did you guys have a chance to try it on your own? Yeah? Was it nice? Did it work?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, let me show you guys as well. So to make a U-shaped stair, you would actually still use the straight run feature. There is this weird U-shaped winder that we don't want to use because do you see those corner stairs get so crazy? We actually want to do a straight run. And so for this, again, I'm just kind of sketching out. I'm going to do run right. And just like before, I'm going to go 11 steps. And then you can decide how tight that turn is. You can do them right next to each other, like this, or you could even leave like space between them. Like I could take this and drag it out. In some houses, it's really, really open like that. It's totally up to you what that space is. Well, sorry, don't be mad at me. I'm gonna see if I can use the align command to bring those two back together. Yep. And then I'm gonna use align again to get it as tight as possible. Now, one thing that I was not paying attention to, okay, that is still 3 feet 6, that's good. And see how I accidentally left this here? What I want to do right now is try and see if I can just take that and move that whole thing. It actually did let me do it. Sometimes if it ends up dragging it the wrong way, what I like to do is actually use the move or the align command, whoa, when I'm done. This time I'm going to use the move command. It wasn't very happy with me. And it's still not happy because now it's moving the railing and not my stair. There we go. Now it got both. The other thing that I would like you guys to try is to also try and do a, let's see, where am I looking here? I'm going to do one more 3D view. I want you guys to also do a circular stair. And so go and do that kind of in the middle of your space. Do a circular stair. And then with either the U or the circular stair, I want you guys to also punch a hole so that you get an opening in your floor too. Okay. I have stairs going up to my roof now as well. Okay, so do a circular stair too, and either with your U shape or your circular, try to get the opening in your floor too. Edit whatever you've done previously. Yeah, so a lot of people have asked if they can edit, and if you love what you did, keep it exact. If you see things that can be further developed, then further develop it. Either way, I'm good.
This is frustrating me.
No, that's fine. You definitely see things maybe you didn't see the first time around, so I think it'd be great to edit it. Let me hop back over here. So with our stairs, I'm trying to think if there's one of the things that I was mentioning that I actually want to hold off on for now. I think I've given you guys a lot of information, so I'm going to hold off on that 6 feet 8 head height. And the reason why, and maybe you don't even know where I'm going with that, but let me come over here and show this to you. I don't know why it's so dark in here. And that's a really weird view. But if you maybe think about your stairs at home, here they're open, but in other places, when you're going up the stair, at the bottom of the steps, it's not typically open the entire way up. Like when you first start going up, there might still be some ceiling above you, or when you're going down after a certain point, you know, there might be another railing here. So what we're going to learn how to do probably next time is how to calculate the head height at an angle so that you can see where that 6 feet 8 inch mark hits, and that's essentially where you can close off your ceiling. Again, I'm going to leave it for today just because we've gone through a lot, but beginning of class on Thursday, I will go over how to calculate the 6 foot 8 head height. And really it's just a matter of drawing 2 reference planes, like drawing one and then offsetting it.
No, we're doing the enclosed stairway all the way up. We don't need a 10-foot ceiling inside that enclosed area.
No, that would go all the way up to the
We
roof.
could go up to a foot down below the floor for a beam.
Well, I think last week when we talked about it, there's a few different scenarios. If it was a true commercial space and that was like a fire exit stair, those walls would have to go all the way up to the ceiling, and you'd have to have a door and a landing on the top too. Now, if that's not the case, some people would actually choose to have the wall come up as like a handrail. So when you're coming up, instead of that wall going up to the roof, you could actually have it go up to the second level. Remember when we did our parapets, we did offset, right? You could also do like, your handrail would have to be at least 40 inches. So you do like a 40-inch offset so that essentially the wall around your steps becomes your guardrail too. But if you're having it completely open, you need to at least do a guardrail
I'm just
about it.
thinking, if you're figuring out your opening, you gotta go either to ceiling height or they'll give you another couple of feet.
I'm not following you, David.
Bedroom. We got like 3 feet from the floor to the ceiling.
But see how in section here, it's already addressed and taken care of? So it goes up to the top of the floor. So this right here is the top of my floor. So Urban Studio,
Yeah.
Revit doesn't care what you're doing with anything below here.
Well, if you're trying to make an opening though, you gotta go by what the ceiling height is, so
Okay, and
that's 2 feet below that.
I feel really bad.
So I'm just thinking, yeah, that little hallway in there, you don't need a 10-foot ceiling in that, so you just go by your framed opening kind of to frame an opening in, couldn't you?
I think I said yes.
Well, we got 3 feet below the floor for the ceiling. We don't need it, we probably don't need
No,
that
no,
ceiling.
no. Imagine in that space though. No, no, no. You don't, you want to go all the way up, because imagine walking in that space. You would look up and be like, dude, why doesn't that wall go all the way up? And you'd see
Yeah.
ceilings and ductwork. So I take it up to the bottom of the floor.
For the trusses that support the floor.
Have we talked about trusses in this class?
Well, you got that top foot that